Nicholas Charnetsky was a Ukrainian bishop who was persecuted by the Soviet government and who endured captivity in 30 prisons and over 600 hours of interrogations and torture. He was born in a small Ukrainian village in 1884 into a large Ukrainian Greek Catholic family. He wanted to be a priest from a young age, and when he was 18, he was sent to Rome to study for the priesthood. He was ordained in 1909 at the age of 24. He earned a doctorate in theology and took a job teaching at a Ukrainian Catholic seminary. He would teach there for the next 9 years, during which time he started to yearn for a more austere life. In 1919, he entered the Redemptorist Order, an order dedicated to serving the poor. The Redemptorists assigned him to a parish in northern Ukraine, where he was to serve the people and foster better relations between the Catholic and Orthodox there. He was well loved and respected in his new parish. In 1931, he was appointed as a bishop and a papal representative for the area. In 1932, he attended the Eucharistic Congress in Ireland. There, he celebrated a pontifical Divine Liturgy that was participated in by Fulton Sheen. Back in Ukraine, bad times for the Church were ahead. Invasions by both the USSR in 1939 and Nazi Germany in 1941 led to much upheaval. In 1944, Soviet forces invaded again, and all of the Ukrainian Greek Catholic bishops were arrested. The Soviets wanted to force Catholic clergy to embrace the Russian Orthodox Church, which was sanctioned by the state. They were prepared to use force to make this happen. Bishop Charnetsky was one of the arrested bishops. On the night of his arrest, he was abused throughout the night. The man who was in charge of interrogating him was said to have been so moved by the bishop's calm and patient demeanor that he actually asked for forgiveness. Bishop Charnetsky forgave and kissed the man. He was sentenced to hard labor, and he would spend the next 11 years being shuffled between different prisons. It's said that he spent time in over 30 prisons and work camps where he was subject to over 600 hours of torture and interrogation. He endured this treatment with quiet dignity. He spent his time consoling fellow prisoners and providing them with spiritual comfort. He came to know all of his fellow prisoners by name, and he was very popular among them. By 1956, his health had declined and he was near death. His captors prepared his burial shroud and decided to release him so that he wouldn't die in prison and they couldn't be blamed for his death. Miraculously, he actually started to recover after his release. He regained some of his health and began a secret apostolate. Even though he was under surveillance, he helped to secretly prepare and ordain men into the priesthood. One of these men later said, "He was a very humble person. The first time I came for instruction from the bishop, he was sweeping the house. I wanted to help him to take the broom, but he didn't let me. He himself swept. 'Have a seat,' he said. I was embarrassed that the bishop was sweeping, but I was sitting because he wouldn't let me. He told me how many priests who had signed over to Orthodoxy came to him to confess. Nearly 300 priests. They repented and came to him." His recovery unfortunately didn't last long. 3 years after his release, on April 2, 1959, he died. Almost immediately, people who knew him regarded him as a saint. He was beatified in 2001 with other Ukrainian martyrs, and his feast day is April 2nd. On the occasion of his beatification, Pope John Paul II said, "May Ukraine draw fresh apostolic enthusiasm from the legacy of holiness left by these exemplary disciples of Christ, and by so many others who in some way they represent. Their legacy, especially that of the martyrs, must be firmly safeguarded and communicated to the new generations."